Part 1. SpaceX's IPO, currently number 7 on the US market, and the biggest debut in history. The stock traded above its IPO price all day long on June 12, 2026, US local time. SpaceX officially listed on the Nasdaq. The numbers were staggering. SpaceX closed its first trading day up 19.22%, finishing at $160.95 per share with a market cap of $2.11 trillion. Intraday, the stock swung between $149.34 and $176.52, a single-day range of 18.2%. What that means: from the moment trading began, SpaceX never dipped below its IPO price of $135 per share. The premium over the offer price ranged from 10.6% to 30.8% throughout the session. That's a clear signal of just how much faith the market is placing in Elon Musk. The biggest opening day market cap in U.S. stock market history. SpaceX is now the only company ever to debut on the Nasdaq with a market cap above $1 trillion on its first day of trading. To put that in perspective, the second largest Nasdaq debut belongs to Alphabet, Google, which opened at a market cap of $563.5 billion, not even close to SpaceX's $2.10 trillion. Third place goes to Germany's Linde, which debuted at $92.4 billion, a completely different scale from Google, let alone SpaceX. Across all U.S. exchanges, the 5 largest opening day market caps in history are SpaceX, $2.1 trillion, Google, $563.5 billion, Alibaba, $231.4 billion, Shell, $193.2 billion, and DuPont, $157.5 billion. SpaceX leads by a canyon, currently number 7 on the U.S. market, number 9 among all global assets. As of June 12, 2026, there are 15 U.S. listed companies with market caps above $1 trillion. In order: Nvidia, Alphabet, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, TSMC, SpaceX, Broadcom, Tesla, Meta, Samsung Electronics, Micron, Eli Lilly, and Berkshire Hathaway. SpaceX, at $2.1 trillion, sits at number 7, just one step behind TSMC's $2.2 trillion. Globally, across all asset classes, SpaceX ranks 9th. Above it, gold, $29.5t, Nvidia, $4.97t, Alphabet, $4.37t, Apple, $4.28t, silver, $3.83t, Microsoft, $2.9t, Amazon, $2.57t, TSMC, $2.2t. Below it, Broadcom, $1.82t, Saudi Aramco, $1.75t, Tesla, $1.53t, Meta, $1.44t, Samsung, $1.39t. Part 2. What kind of company is SpaceX, really? SpaceX's own IPO prospectus answers this question directly. Founded in 2002, SpaceX is the only company in the world that operates simultaneously across 3 major industries: space, communications, and artificial intelligence. No economy in the world, including China, currently has a directly comparable company. The space business, rewriting the rules of launch. SpaceX's journey in the aerospace sector has been defined by a series of historic firsts. 2008 became the first private company to develop and successfully launch a liquid-fueled rocket capable of reaching orbit under its own power. 2012, first private spacecraft to dock with the International Space Station. 2015, first successful powered vertical landing of an orbital-class rocket booster, catching the Falcon 9's first stage on a drone ship at sea, demonstrating reusable launch vehicles were technically viable. This put SpaceX at least a decade ahead of every competitor. 2017, first reflight of a previously used orbital rocket booster, dramatically cutting launch costs. 2019, began large-scale deployment of a low Earth orbit broadband satellite constellation. 2020, first private company to carry astronauts to space. 2023, first test flight of Starship, the next-generation fully reusable launch vehicle. 2024, milestone chopstick catch, successfully catching an orbital-class rocket booster in midair at the launch site using mechanical arms. Since 2023, using the Falcon family of rockets, SpaceX has been responsible for more than 80% of all payload mass delivered to orbit globally each year, with a mission success rate above 99%. As of Q1 2026, SpaceX has completed approximately 650 orbital launch missions, over 540 of those using extensively flight-proven Falcon rockets. SpaceX is also the only private company certified by NASA to carry crew on human spaceflight missions. The communications business, Starlink is the backbone of SpaceX's communications division. 2019, SpaceX began deploying its large-scale low-Earth orbit broadband satellite constellation. 2020, Starlink broadband service launched commercially to users worldwide. 2022, SpaceX achieved mass production of consumer-grade phased array satellite terminals and launched the world's first commercially available low-latency LEO broadband network. Starlink passed 1 million subscribers. 2024, first launch of Starlink direct-to-cell satellites. Building the world's first large-scale LEO satellite constellation capable of connecting directly to standard mobile phones. As of Q1 2026, SpaceX has approximately 9,600 Starlink broadband and mobile communication satellites in low Earth orbit, serving roughly 10.3 million subscribers across 164 countries and territories. In addition, SpaceX has deployed around 650 first-generation Starlink direct-to-cell satellites, providing data, voice over IP, and messaging services to 7.4 million monthly active devices across approximately 30 countries. The AI business, Grok plus X on the artificial intelligence side, leveraging its engineering capabilities and large-scale infrastructure, SpaceX has formally entered the AI space in 2025. XAI, founded in 2023, acquired X, formerly Twitter. The combined entity is now building AI computing infrastructure, with Grok, its large language model, supporting SpaceX's operations and eventually extending that support from Earth into space. As of Q1 2026, the combined Grok and X platforms have served approximately 1.3 billion active enterprise client accounts, with 550 million monthly active users. SpaceX describes itself as the only company in the world with the capacity to access space reliably and at scale, fundamentally disrupting an industry that had spent decades trapped in stagnation, risk aversion, and broken commercial incentives. Part 3, Who controls SpaceX? Musk holds 83.6% of voting power before the IPO. Musk personally held 12.2% of SpaceX's Class A shares, approximately 849.4 million shares, and 93.3% of its Class B shares, approximately 5.219 billion shares. Because each Class B share carries 10 votes compared to 1 vote for Class A, Musk's total voting power pre-IPO stood at 84.3%. SpaceX was entirely under his control. After the IPO, Musk's voting power was diluted slightly to 83.6%, or 83.5% if underwriters exercise their full overallotment option. Either way, Musk retains complete control over SpaceX's board composition and all major decisions. SpaceX's 3 key executives, 1. Elon Musk, CEO. 2. Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's 7th employee, now president and COO, AIAA fellow and Northwestern University trustee, named to Fortune's Most Powerful Women in Business list in 2024 for her contributions to aerospace. 3. Brett Johnsen, CFO, previously spent nearly a decade at semiconductor giant Broadcom, and approximately 3 years as CFO of Mindspeed Technologies. Part 4, The financials are not pretty. SpaceX is in heavy spending Medano dividends for the foreseeable future. According to the prospectus, SpaceX plans to reinvest all future retained earnings into business expansion. There are no plans to pay cash dividends to common shareholders for the foreseeable future. Purely from a dividend perspective, there is no case for the current valuation. The numbers, honestly, are rough. As of Q1 2026, SpaceX had total assets of $102.1 billion, with a debt-to-asset ratio of 66%. Q1 2026 revenue came in at $4.69 billion, up 15% year-over-year, but SpaceX posted a net loss of $4.28 in Q1 2026 alone. For full year 2025, the net loss was $4.94 billion. Cash flow picture. Still burning cash. Investment activity is a consistent net outflow, and the outflow is significantly larger than what operating or financing activities bring in. The one bright spot, financing activity, i.e., capital being raised from investors, is growing rapidly, signaling that institutional money continues to believe in SpaceX despite the losses. Specifically, financing net inflows surged 19.13x year-over-year in Q1 2026 compared to Q1 2025, and grew 1.23x for full year 2025. Whether you look at investment activity or financing activity, SpaceX is in a phase of aggressive expansion, and the numbers show it. Profitability breakdown by segment of SpaceX's three business lines: space, communications, and AI. Only the communications segment, Starlink, is currently profitable, and it's significantly profitable. The other two remain loss-making. This strongly suggests the bulk of SpaceX's spending is concentrated in aerospace and AI. Part 5. The risks. What could go wrong? SpaceX's prospectus is candid about the risks ahead. The major ones include 1. Starship development risk. If Starship underperforms expectations, it would directly set back SpaceX's entire strategic roadmap, including next-generation satellite deployment, global direct-to-cell mobile coverage, and its orbital AI computing project. 2. Regulatory and licensing risk. This includes FAA launch and re-entry licenses, telecom operating licenses, spectrum allocations, both domestic FCC licenses and international approvals. Any bottleneck here could materially disrupt operations. 3. Legal and compliance risk. Across jurisdictions. SpaceX's AI products, X platform, Starlink, and other satellite communications services may face regulatory scrutiny in the US and globally, particularly around data privacy, cybersecurity, and telecommunications compliance. 4. Execution risk at unprecedented scale. SpaceX's strategy requires designing, developing, and commercializing products and services at a scale no company has attempted before. Its satellites, rockets, and future orbital AI infrastructure also face unique risks inherent to the space environment. 5. Infrastructure disruption risk. SpaceX's satellite constellations, ground stations, launch facilities, manufacturing plants, spacecraft, and data centers could all face operational disruptions. 6. Supply chain risk. Certain critical components for launch, communications, and AI operations still depend on third-party suppliers. Part 6. Final thoughts. The IPO was, by any measure, a spectacular success. The market cap, the premium over issue price, and the oversubscription levels, including significant participation from Middle Eastern sovereign capital, were all remarkable. Why did it work? 1. Musk's track record, Tesla, Starlink, and others, has built genuine market credibility over years. 2. His unique personal brand provides an amplification effect that very few founders can replicate. 3. The Russia-Ukraine war and the ongoing Middle East conflict have each, in different ways, provided tailwinds for all three of SpaceX's core business segments. 4. All three of SpaceX's divisions sit at the frontier of what the world expects to matter most in the coming decades. A word of caution: SpaceX's rockets have failed before, and while its successes in AI, Starlink, and launch technology demonstrate genuine technical depth, this IPO is ultimately priced as a bet on a vision. Visions can be realized, but they can also fall short. That means SpaceX's stock is likely to be highly volatile